And today we are going to talk about all the way from chapters Valiant Headspeed all the way to You Are Sang Lagitan, okay? And this is by Aaron and Trana Kelly, Lalani of the Distant Sea. I really like this book, and that's why I made the book about it, so I hope that you enjoy it today, okay? I'm going to really enjoy it. Now, look at this cover. What do you think this is? Like this giant bird? What do you think it means? And do you think that Lalani, based from this, where that she's going? We're gonna all find out in due time. Let's dive right in. Okay, so let's go into the chapter Valiant Headspeed. So let me just read the first page. I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but I'm just gonna read the first page. There was only one way to know which boys in Sang Lagita were meant to be sailors, shipbuilders, or fishermen. You had to put them on the task. Unfortunately, Headspeed Yuzi was horrendous at everything. For shipbuilding instruction, the youngest boys, ages 6 to 7, first learned how to identify and fell superior trees. Once they reached age 11, they were supposed to have the skills to build a small fishing boat big enough for two. So I'm going to keep on reading, but first I wanted to point out, do you think that Headspeed is horrendous at everything, or do you think that he isn't and he just needs to find what he's good at? What do you think? Which side of the opinion? And if you have been Headspeed's instructor, and we do know this guy and his name, and Headspeed's instructor's name is Tating, okay? Now, if you have been Tating, how would you have felt about Headspeed? And do you think that you would, and like, if you had to write a note to Headspeed's mother, which is Yuzi, then how would you have put it, like, about how well Headspeed's doing? How would you have put it? I would have put Headspeed is looking for his talent, well, I'm not a Sang Lagita school guy, so I don't know what they teach. So this is a hard one, but I would say that, you know, like maybe Headspeed just needs to find his talent. But for right now, he's not a bad student, and he's working as hard as he can. So he's a pretty good student in the end. Okay. Now, do you think that the shipbuilding instruction sounds really hard? What do you think? And have you ever felt like you've been really bad at everything, or are you at least good at something? Now, did you think that Headspeed was why do you think that Headspeed sort of, you know, no offense, but why isn't he sort of bad at all of this? But do you think that he's gonna find his talent soon? What do you think? And also, I wanted to say, do you think that Headspeed's mindset is a good one? And how can you find out? How can you back up a positive one or a negative one? I would say negative. Now think about it, and from the book, how can you find evidence to back up that maybe he has a negative mindset? Look, his boat was a failure. He was just a failure, right? And stuff like that. And I think that really that why do you think that just that thinking that your boat is a failure, why do you think that is bad in your opinion? What do you think? And do you think that Tating, when he looks at Headspeed's, how do you think that he's going to respond and react anyway? What do you think? Now, I want to answer my question about how maybe thinking that everything was a failure is bad. Well, if it's a failure, then you don't want to try it again. And if you try it again and again, though, you're probably gonna get the hang of it, right? But if you don't even do that, then you're never gonna get good at anything because you think that you're a failure and you can't do it, right? So that's a bad mindset, in my opinion. Can you think of another? Can you think of like an example of that, maybe? Now, what did you think that Tating was going to say what do you think that Tating is going to say to Hetsby? Do you think that Hetsby should have worked harder? And do you think that it's his fault that it's bad? Or what do you think? Well, it isn't his fault. Yeah, it definitely isn't him. An technically it is him, but I don't blame Hetsby. Look, I don't even know how to make an origami ship, and the best ship I made was made out of leaves and glue, and it sunk anyway. Even if it was made out of leaves or glue, somehow I made it so bad that it sunk anyway. So yeah. I have to say, I understand why maybe Hetsby, had a hard time building his vessel because I have a hard time making anything. So yeah, I see him. I can feel him here. I feel him. So, what did you think that Tating was going to say? Now, I've asked that question a lot, but I want to repeat that. And then he said something. He said, a valiant effort. Now, do you think that those words carry a negative connotation or a positive connotation? And in the end, do you think that Tating approves, disapproves, or just feels neutral about Hetsby's work? What do you think? And do you think that how do you think that he's gonna take it? And do you think that he's gonna think that do you think that Hetsby is gonna feel like he's a failure, or do you think he's gonna get over it? What do you think? I wanted to sort of talk about that quickly because it was just a really important part of the book. So, we go to Hetsby at times. So far, we've actually just sort of followed we've only followed Lalani, but now we're gonna go to then we went to Hetsby. I thought that was important because then we can see both sides of the story from Hetsby's point of view, which is good, right? Now, next chapter, mouth full of Yunefish. But before that, I wanted to talk about the Hetsby chapter. The last thing I wanted to talk about that was, do you think that Hetsby is going to improve on this? And what do you think that Hetsby's talent is going to be, maybe? And I know that, there's 100 talents out there. He could be good at singing, but what do you think that he's going to be when he grows up? And do you think that maybe he's going to become a shipbuilder after more practice? Or do you think that it's going to be another talent? What do you think? I think that he's going to have some other talent. I still have to think about it, but he might be a shipbuilder. After some practice, he might actually be a shipbuilder. I trust him here. I trust him. And how do you feel toward Hetsby? Because, he sort of did, I'm pretty sure that Tating, even if he said a valiant effort, it would have been a D-. I'm sorry, Hetsby. Maybe C-. If he's lucky, a C+. And how did you feel toward Hetsby here? And how did the Hetsby felt? And I want you to use a simile. What about this? I felt as if I had just dropped down into a deep, dark chasm. Okay, it's like, what? And you're just really terrified when Tating is coming, and you're just like, am I never gonna be nothing? And you feel, I personally feel sad because now your life is gonna get over. And just, it's sort of like your life is ending in a way. And even if that isn't the case for Hetsby, still, it was a big disappointment. Sort of like falling into a chasm and dropping and dropping and dropping, right? Okay, mouthful of Yunefish. Let's start that. What do you think that this means anyway? We can actually, I'm gonna just read the first page and you're gonna understand. After the sunset and the family had their place to fish, Lalani asked if she could stay at Veda's house again. Drum spoke before her mother could answer. You spend too much time with that girl, he said. A flake of fish sat on his lip. He drummed 2 fingers against the table and eyed Lalani suspiciously. There's something not right about the Uzis. The girl's got ideas in her head. The boy's so useless, he may as well be a girl. A boy who's afraid of his own feet, will never become a man. Cole chuckled through a mouthful of Yunfish. So they're eating something called a Yunfish. Now I have no idea what a Yunfish is, but it does come up, and sometime in the other book. I have totally forgotten if you have already read that part or not, but there was one part about Yunfish, maybe 2. There's just maybe at times like a mention or 2 of a Yunfish, so you can keep a lookout for that. Or maybe you might have already passed it without noticing it. If so, I can understand. What do you think about Drum's opinion? And what do you think that he means when the girl's got ideas in her head? And why do you think that he wouldn't like Lalani going over there? Because the boy is useless, but still, why do you think that Drum hates the idea because somebody has ideas? Why? Because those ideas, well, they're probably against, right? He sort of knows that. He's like, well, men have the power, right? And he doesn't want that. He doesn't want some kid to overturn all that. So he's like, well, Lalani, and he doesn't want Lalani to get the ideas either. He's like, well, Lalani, you can't go. And secretly to himself is like, hopefully she already doesn't have any ideas, right? Or else. So that's probably it. And then Cole says something that really affects Lalani's mother. It says this. I'm going to keep on reading a little. Lalani twisted her hands in her lap. She's my best friend, she said. What do you girls do over there anyway? Cole asked. Talk about your lost papas? He chuckled again. Lalani's mother lifted her eyes. They landed on Cole hard. You may go to Vedas, Lalani, she said. The only time her mother showed defiance was when someone spoke out against her first husband. And then actually, this is sort of like a description of Lalani's father, or, Lalani's mother's husband. So I'm going to read this because I thought this was important. Your father was kind, but too strong for his own good, she used to say back when she still mentioned him. Cannot forgive me, but there were times I wished he was weak or ill. Then the Manora would never have chosen him to sail. So we get a good description of Lalani's dad there. But what really affected Lalani's mother was about lost papas. Talk about the lost papas. Now, if you had been Lalani's mother, do you think that you would have what would you have done? Really? Me, I wouldn't have only said you may go to Vedas. Well, I would have said that. But also, well, I am Cole's mother. Stepmother. And even if I didn't consider Cole a son, technically, legally, he is my son. So, what do you think that a normal mom does? Now, think about your mom. When she is mad, is she just smiley? Or when she's mad, what does she do? Well, I have read a lot of books. In one book, the mom actually kicked the kid. In another book, well, it's sort of all like that. And the mom's threatened, and so I wouldn't be like that. But Cole, he had a punishment. He'll be grounded. Now, that was just mine though. Punishment, because I don't really like Cole and Drum. And what do you think about Lalani's father? We don't really get a lot about him a lot. We sort of do get it. And can you imagine him sort of in your imagination. And what are a few words that you would use to describe the man that you are imagining? Well, of course, kind. That's definitely one, even though Lalani's mother says the same thing, and I really agree with it. Imagine a kind, strong, worthy, good-hearted, just good in general, nice man who is very strong and is a good shipbuilder and can swim really fast. That's what I see. Basically what they're sort of trying to build, the authors are trying to build in our minds, right, Aaron and Trotta Kelly? Now, if you had been Lalani, and Colette actually said that about Papa's, how would you have responded? Now, we've talked about Lalani's mother, but what about Lalani? How would you have responded? And I have a question. Do you think that the Agapito is, what do you think about him? And would you like, if you have an Agapito, to see your brother leave? And why not? I would hate it, okay, think about your answer, and what are a few reasons why maybe you wouldn't like that? Why you wouldn't like your brother going away? Well, here's the thing. I know that he's gonna die. Admit it, like every time they die, right? Like nobody's ever come back. It's like foolish thing. It's, for example, it's like, let's see, what could I think about? Oh, I know. What about, it's basically like saying us, okay? We, and then this guy's like the Manioro. Imagine us as Manioro, and it's like, to make lots of money, we shall soon begin conducting tours under the earth, thousands of miles under. But to do that, we need people to actually go in. And then that guy, aka the Manioro, smashes, like makes people go into astronaut suits, and then he's like, boom, and he kicks them in, and he's like, okay, see how it is. They never return. The astronaut suits never return. He's like, come on, they're lazy. Another guy's dead. Come on, let's go. Every year it's like, let's go. Another year, let's go. Another year, let's go. Nobody ever comes, right? It's sort of like that. And if your brother had been chosen and the Manioro was like, let's go, you're like, oh no, it's the end, right? It's the end of your brother. You can think about it like that. And then, wait, sorry. I think I skipped a page. No, that's fine. Sorry, I did not skip a page. It was just that page was stuck together, but it was okay. I got it unstuck. Now, you know those parts when you say like you are, and it's something like right now we're gonna go into you are sang Lagitan. But there is also like, there is you are where the Binchi sing, or wait, I think that's all. But the you are's, they actually do come up a lot in the story, and they teach us about the story, and they teach us these, well, I'm not going to spoil it, but still, they're going to teach us about some mythical characters. That's all I'm going to say for this time. And so just keep an eye out for those, because they're going to tell you a lot about mythical characters, and those mythical characters are really going to help you understand the book a lot, okay? And now, today, we are going to go and we're going to explore You Are Sang Lagitan. I'm going to actually read You Are Sang Lagitan, okay? And this really tells you a lot about Isa, and more about how maybe a Sang Lagitan really feels. I mean, they're not all like brainwashed zombies, right? They're not like all brainwashed. they still have thoughts. So so I'm gonna read, okay? And then after that, I am going to ask you some questions. Imagine you're a Sanglagidan. Things are as they've always been. You don't know how your people arrived on this island. All you know is that you are here now. Now, do you think that you would have been satisfied with the answer, or do you think that you would have tried to know? Of course I would have tried to know. It would be exciting to learn where I came from, right? Well, I know I came from my mother, but you know what I mean, right? You know what I mean. Where my people came from. Okay, I also know that. It's somewhere in the history textbooks. But still, if I hadn't known, I would be desperate to know. I would be like, where am I from? Where am I from? And also, if you want to learn, if you like books like that where they figure out where they're from, then check out Beyond the Bright Sea. Awesome book. And I'm also going to try to do start a book club about it. I really like that book, and I'm going to do a book club about it as soon as possible. I haven't started yet, but I am planning on doing it. By the time you watch the video, hopefully that book club has already uploaded and it's on my YouTube channel, okay? And that's a great, awesome, amazing book. Okay, now I'll keep on reading. Look at the pitched roofs of the flanker houses covered with thick mecha leaves. There's the water well in the center of the village, and there's a schoolhouse where boys learn to become men. What do you think about the island? And what might be a few things that you would add? First of all, the houses are okay, but here's one thing. I think that one thing that they should add is maybe try to build with, like, if you look at the pictures, I think that they should try to build with like bigger trees, and then also I think that the leaves are okay, but I think that it would be better if they had more sticks for the top, because it's like it's gonna probably at times get like, you know, ruffled by the wind, and the, you know, rain can drip through maybe. And what's another thing that you might add to the village? Well, the schoolhouse where boys learn to become men. Where's girls? Where's women? So I would add also schoolhouse for women, like for girls. Or actually, we could just do it in the same schoolhouse. No, we'll do it in like separate schoolhouses that are connected. I think that would be good. Okay, I'll keep on reading. To the west is Mount Kana, wide, dark, and looming. When you were little, the grown-ups told you stories of boys who went exploring there and were never seen again. No one dares to explore Kana anymore. It's believed the mountain is hungry and eats whatever passes. It may barrel down to the village and devour you all. So in the morning and night, you whisper a simple benediction to spare your souls. Now, what I wanted to say was, do you think that you would have believed in all those stuff, like mumbo jumbo about Mount Kana, and would you have actually explored Mount Kana? What do you think? I think I would have explored Mount Kana. I think that it would actually be really fun and that would be full of adventure. And if you have been Sanglagidan, do you think that you would have do you think that you would have believed in that benediction, or would you get sick of it and be like, well, that benediction isn't gonna help us anyway? Zilch, not! I hate that benediction. How do you think that you would be like? I'd probably be like the Zilchinata guy. Yeah, I hate that benediction. And then I have a question. It says, it may barrel down to the village and devour you all. What do you think that means? Like a mountain can barrel down, so what do you think it means? Probably landslide, right? That'll sort of devour, that'll cover you and sort of like devouring, right? You're gonna probably go into the land, and that turns into dirt and soil, and that goes to the mountain. And then the mountain has one full belly full of people. But do you think that the mountain really wants that? Or do you think that the mountain is just a mountain? And do you think that those Sanglagidans are just not really, you know, smart? Well, not smart, but still. And why do you think that the Manoro here, okay, we can see already that he's an unfair guy. I don't like him. Now, my question is, why do you think that he still follows that thought about Mount Kana? Why do you think that he opposes it, or that he tries to think differently? Do you think it's because he actually believes in it, or some other reason? And we're gonna actually go deeper into that later. But for right now, you can just keep that in mind and think about it. Okay? Okay. Now I'm gonna keep on reading. Okay. I'm just gonna read to the end of the page. Something curious though. Men no longer explore Mount Kana, but they continue sailing north, even though no one has returned from there either. Perhaps because that legend is too hard to resist, or perhaps they discovered fortunes after all and chose not to return. But no, that can't be it, because they know of all the terrible things that happened. Ziva, the lock of her hair, the men. No, you don't want to think about it. Put that away, stuff it in a box and close the lid. There are plenty of other things to wonder about it, because even though each day is the same here, yesterday and tomorrow and today, you find time to wonder. When did you first hear that there was a better place to the north? A place that held the answers to your questions, everything you ever needed, everything you ever wanted. For those aren't the same thing, are they? Okay. Now, what do you think about the fact that people are going to the north, where it's more harder and farther away, when they could actually just explore Mount Kana and conquer it, and they could be like, it is ours, and then they would have like a booming place, right? And if you have been a St. Lugian, do you think that you would have been actually the first one to actually try that? Definitely. What I would have done? I would have been a part of a group of explorers, and we would go and make a trail up Mount Kana, okay? And who knows? I mean, even if the mountain monster isn't alive, like still, is alive. Well, we have men, lots of men. They could probably get that mountain monster good, and I think that will be pretty much it. Yeah, I think it'll be pretty good. So, if you had been a St. Lugian, how would you have tried to change the whole environment anyway? Here's my plans. Well, of course, I would have done that, and after that, I would have built lots of houses, and I would have had fruits down, and soon enough, people would be like, well, you manure, I don't believe in you, and kicked him out of office. After that, we would have a better leader, maybe, or like voting. And then after that, the village could spread all over the mountain, right? And there would be trails everywhere, and it would be pretty happy, right? And like the houses, they will be more spread out, but there would still be like a main village. That would be the place where many people went, but like lots of people, like small communities, like maybe small villages, can be like scattered all over the island, and St. Lugian would seriously prosper. And when St. Lugian prospers, then they could build better boats and stuff, and soon they could like with all that, they could probably go to Isa. Even though I don't recommend that. If they have a good island, then make good use of it and then stay there, because it's gonna be so good. Now I have another question. What do you think is the difference between what you need and what you want? What do you think? Well, yeah, there are differences, okay? And the difference is, first of all, can you list some things that you need and some things that you want? Okay. Let me start. I need food. I need water. And I need sleep. I need education. You need education. Well, you don't technically have it. You need to have it, but it will be good. Now, what about this? That's too hard. Now, what about, and then I would also need shelter. I would need something warm, or I would freeze to death. I would need medicine just in case I got sick, and if I got sick and I didn't have any medicine, I would die. And so that's just my simple short list. Here's some things I want. A mega giant bag of Cheetos. I swear, when I grow up, I'm gonna build wait for the drum roll, the biggest bag of Cheetos in the world. When I open it with a crane, oh, it's gonna be bliss. Though the Cheetos aren't gonna be the same size, still, imagine how many Cheetos that is. And also I want a swimming pool of lemonade, and you might be like, well, are you gonna drink the thing that you're swimming in? Well, I know. So it's gonna be a swimming pool full of lemonade, but I'm not actually gonna swim there. I'm just gonna drink from it. And also, I'm going to, let's see, let me keep on thinking. Also, I want a gigantic piece of chocolate. And that piece of chocolate is gonna be so huge, okay? I also want a table made out of chocolate. And now that's all my food stuff. Now let me talk about other things. I want a diamond ring. I don't know why. I'm not getting any, I don't know why. It's just I want a diamond ring. I want an emerald. That's my birthstone. I want a car. I want an airplane. I want to buy Alaska. I want to get a really, 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 really big truck. I want to get 10 more books that I really want. I want to get a house. And finally, I want to get a soccer ball. And actually, I want to get a TV. I want to get more books. And I want to get another game, like Uno or something. Because I am in serious shortage of games right now. See? That's what I want. And compared to what I need. What do you know the difference is? Well, what you need is things that you need or you're gonna die. Now, do you need a huge bag of Cheetos to survive? No, it's something that you want, not need. And you first need to cover the things that you need before you actually go to the things that you want. For example, you need shelter, food, water, stuff like that. Once you cover those, then you can actually move on to the other stuff. And that is actually gonna be a good thing that you can do, okay? Now, I'm not gonna read the last page, but I just wanted to say, do you think that if you haven't sang Lagita and you would have begun to trust the Manyoto or the ship or the people who were going on the ships? And do you think that you would stop believing in it? What do you think? And in the end, do you think that you would have just been like, it's not gonna happen. We need to do something. Manyoto, get out of office right now or I'm gonna throw you out of office myself. What do you think? And then I wanted to say one of these. I wanted to say the 2 last sentences. I thought these were important. It says, the light faded each time a ship disappeared into the horizon, but it shined nonetheless. What do you think that this thing means? And what do you think? It means even if every time it seems like hope is out, in the end, hope is still there. Though at times that is a foolish thing to think because it would be better if you didn't hope because why don't you just focus on Kana? And after that, it's conquered, then go to Isa. But first, I think that the single Gita itself would be pretty good. And if they still aren't that happy, then well, do other stuff. I mean, why would they have to do that? Make an underwater hotel. Just make the best of Single Gita. Now, let's see what Now, we are actually finished with today. So I thought you really enjoyed that. Now, a few last questions. What was your favorite part in these chapters and what was your favorite part in the whole book so far? My favorite part in these chapters has to be the part when Lalani's mother stood up for Lalani and said that she could go to Vedas. My favorite part in the whole book has to be the part when they were all together at the beginning, all cozy, and they were listening to the story. I really like that. And also when they described the House of Light, I thought I really like that too. Now, what's your favorite character and your least favorite character? My favorite character has to be Lalani. My least favorite character, the Manoro. Or Drum, or Cup, all of those guys. Now here's my favorite question. How did you like the book so far? You know that's my favorite question because then you can reflect, you can think, and then you're gonna be like, I like it, which is something that I really love. Whenever somebody says I like this book, I just really love that. And even if I can't hear it, you can put it in the comments below, or you can just, or I'm just gonna trust you, okay? I really like this book and I hope that you also really love it. That's why I made a book club on it anyway. Why else would I be sitting here talking about this book if I hated it? If I was like, oh, I hate this one, I have this and see. Why would I be doing this? I love this book. Finally, predictions. What do you think that Lalani and Veda are gonna do together at Veda's house? Do you think that the Manoro is gonna get kicked out? Do you think that Mount Kana is going to get conquered? Do you think that that mountain beast is real? Do you think that Lalani is going to get to Mount Isa? And so do you think that she's going to find a flower or not? Do you think that Lalani is even going to survive getting to Mount Isa if she ever goes there? Do you think that Lalani is actually going to go to Mount Kana or Mount Isa? What do you think? And also, do you think that Lalani, the vision about the eyes, I want your eyes part, do you think that's going to become real or not? And then the rest, if you want, you can make your own predictions. Now, I hope that you really enjoyed today along with me. Because, I really enjoyed it, so I hope that you also enjoyed, okay? Have a great rest of your day. Keep on reading, and I hope that you read some other books by Erin and Trada Kelly. For example, she made the 2018 Newbery winning book, Hello Universe, which I've also made a book club about it. Check it out if you haven't already. Goodbye, and I hope that you enjoyed today's chapters, which is all the way from Valiant Hetsby to You Are Saying Lagitan. And remember, also think about it. Who do you think is saying that stuff about the You Are Saying Lagitan and You Are Where the Benji sing? Who do you think that person is? Let's start. And also at the beginning, who do you think was speaking? Goodbye! Keep on reading and make a difference. The book says bye too. Bye!